Welcome everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to design this modern world dashboard in AdobeXD, just like the one you saw in the beginning of the video. I would also be showing you how to prepare your assets and get them ready for creating an advanced prototype in AdobeXD, which you can show to your clients or just put it on your portfolio. So without further ado, let's get started. So I just want to show you guys how I actually set up my projects before designing. So if you go to the libraries panel, you would see that we have the colors, the character styles, and the components. So I've made a list of illustrations, icons, and the characters images that I'll be using. So I've already prepared this for this tutorial. And also, if you look at my colors, also you would see some of the gradient I'll be using and some of the solid colors as well. So let's go to the main design. The first thing I want to do is create an artboard of 1920 by 1080, right? And you can go ahead and give it a name called home. That's fine. Okay. So let's start importing our background, and then we move on to the next stage, which is actually creating the characters section. So let's import our background. I have it on my libraries as a component. Okay. So we can center it horizontally and vertically by using the alignment panel over here. Now, if you saw on the video where we actually have this chair in front of the design, and the way to achieve this is we have to cut out this chair using Photoshop, which I did, and then I come back and I paste this chair in front of the design, right? So when I have my design here, for instance, I can have the chair in front of it, and then I create my designs over here. All right, so with that being said, let's start. I'll just take this out. Let's start designing the main screens. So let's go ahead and create our main screen. So we need a rectangle of about, let's make it 1550, and you can make it any size you want, right? This is just my preference. Okay, let's round the corners, give it 10 for the radius, and let's move it to this to the left side of the screen more. And we want to bring our chair in front to create a sense of illusion of depth, right? Let's remove the border, and now let's create the section for the characters. So the way to do this is, if you can see in the video, I had a green background, and then I have the characters in front of them. Okay, so we'll be creating the background now. To do this, you have to duplicate this, so you can copy and paste, right? Don't worry, we'll bring the chair forward, and we want to create a rectangle, and then give it a color, a gradient of this. Let's say, yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, let's round up the corners. So what we want to do, we don't want to round up all the corners, just the one on the right side. Okay, so to do this, we need to go here and give it maybe 200 or 300. Okay, and then we make sure we also click on these two objects because we want to make a mask of this, right? And to do this, what we can do is we can click on them and then right click and choose mask with shape to mask it, right? Okay, like you can see over here, we have white as the background, and the reason why it is white is because we add the image or the element that we want to mask behind, so it should be above it. So let's undo, and then we take this and bring it to the front, and then the image we want to appear should be behind. And then where we mask with shape, we'll see this. Okay, and we can change the color. I think the green is too strong. I think this is good. So the issue of colors, this is a different topic. Let's bring this to the front. And because this is masked, we can move it anywhere just to show what appears. So I think I'll move it more to this side. To give enough space for other elements. So the next thing we want to create is the characters. So let's start bringing in our characters. And if you remember, we want to make the characters scroll. We want to make them scroll horizontally, right? So the way to do this, we have to place them side by side. Let's give a distance between them of, let's say, 100. That can be changed. Okay. So we're going to place it here, right? And what we also want to do is group them. Okay, so now we have them grouped, and obviously we can't have them appearing like this. So we want to create a section that the characters will appear in. And to do that, we have what we call the vertical and the horizontal scroll groups, and we want to choose this. Okay, and when you do that, you will see a bounding box around the characters, and then you can move them to where you want the characters to appear and disappear from. So now we have these characters, and then they can appear and disappear from here. And before we do this, I just also want to mention, let me just undo. So we have the characters grouped, right? There's also what we call stacks. So when I make, they have to be in a group first. So when I make this a stack, the stack like this horizontally, and then I can come in here and give it a distance between each characters. So I can make this 150. Okay, so let's go back and make it a scroll group. Let's put it back in our design. So the beginning of this scroll group here means if the characters have to be between this bounding box and this one. So whichever is outside that bounding box will not appear in the design. Okay, and this is very good when you want to create something that is scrollable, either vertically, horizontally, or both. Right? So I think that's fine. Okay, so let's bring our image back to the front, which is the chair. Okay, so it looks like the character is behind the image. So you could assume that this is your sitting room, and then this is a screen and you're just behind watching it. So the next step we want to do is create the navigation. And to do this, I already have the icons prepared. So what I need to do now is just create a rectangle to hold my navigation. And the width is going to be around 130. And the border radius will be around 10. And let's remove the border color. Okay, so this will be hosting our navigation, right? And we are going to have 4 icons. This is to show the highlighted icon. Let's give it a gradient of this color and a border radius of around 5. Okay, and then we want to bring in our home icon and place it here. Give it a border color of white. So this would be our first navigation icon. Then what we can do is we can bring in the rest, which is the profile icon, the notification icon, and then the out icon. Right, so let's arrange this. Okay, so we can center the icons over here. And we can give this the color of a very light gray or light blue, just to blend with the background a little bit more. So now we have this section. Let's just preview it. And we can see that we can scroll in this. So the next thing we'll be doing is creating the statistics of each of these characters, right? So let's do that now. Let's start by creating a light blurry background. Okay. It will be about, let's say, 450 or 460. That's fine. We're going to give it the same color we give to this character background, which is this. And also reduce the opacity to about 90 or let's say 85%. Let's change the direction of the gradient. And then would also make it object blur, right, of about 20. Yeah, so that's fine. And let's start creating the statistics. So I'm just going to close this panel. And this could be anything, right? So it's just going to be circles of data showing the statistics of these characters. All right. So we can give this a gradient. Let's change the direction. Okay. Let's create another circle. So we can just duplicate this by holding none option and then dragging. Make this a little bit smaller than this. I'm going to remove the border. You can give this another gradient of maybe, let's say, green. Okay, that's fine. Let's create another one, a much smaller circle. Okay, and we can give this dark gradients, and then you can create a much bigger circle. And this is totally up to you, the way you want to arrange them. Alright, and we can give this a blue gradient. Okay, so let's start importing the text, the copy. And the font we'll be using would be a font I call Dubai font. Okay, and to be around 20 pixels, and you can use whatever font you want to use, right? We're going to make it white. And then we duplicate this and put it here. This would be a little bit smaller, maybe around 18 pixels, and this will be, let's say, kid rates. Okay, and also we duplicate again. And this would be also smaller, maybe around 16, and this would be called damages. So these are just attributes of this character, and then the final one will be something around 14 pixels, and we'll call this more. So the user could click on this to view more attributes. Alright, so when we have that set, we'd also want to create a card that signifies the level that this character is in. So I have gone ahead to create this. Okay, and it's very simple. I'm just going to show you what I did on how I created this card. Let's duplicate this and let's ungroup from components, right? So this is it. It's just a combination of shapes and gradients, and there you have it. So it's easy to create. I might do a tutorial on how to create this. Alright, back to the design. Okay. Alright, I think I deleted that. Alright, no problem. Let's just re-import that. Okay. We also need a section for the name of this character. So we can click on this, bump it up a little bit, and give it a dark color. And the name of this character is Devourer. So if you play a lot of games, especially Mortal Kombat, you'll be familiar with these names. Mortal Kombat is one of my best games. Anyways, let's increase let's make it medium for the font weight. And here we have some of the statistics. In here we'll be putting the numbers or the percentage, but I want to show you what I'll be doing, because at the end of this we would also be prototyping this, so it's not going to be as straightforward as just putting numbers. We'll have to do a little bit of trick and masking. So with that being said, let's start creating the next section, which is actually the history and then thumbnails of the other characters. So we'll be creating the fight history section and then the characters thumbnail section. So let's go ahead and do that. So I just finished creating the history section. Then the next section I want to create would be the thumbnail of each of the characters. Okay, so let's do that. So I just finished creating the thumbnails of the character. What I want to do is I want this to be scrollable. So I'll be using the scroll groups. Okay, and then I want it to be scrollable within these boundaries. So I just want 4 of them to show at once, and then users will be able to scroll through them. Okay, and what we can also do here before we create the scrollable section is that we want to give a good space between each of these elements, and to do this we can use our stack, right, and maybe 50 or 40 pixels in between them. Maybe 40 is too much. We could say 25 is good, right? 25 pixels in between all these, and then we can create our scroll group section and just make it 4 to be viewable at once, and then the user will be able to scroll. Would also do that do the same thing over here. Okay, so what's left right now is to actually populate these rectangles and these circles with all the characters. So I will do that now. So I've actually gone ahead to populate these rectangles and with images of the characters. So what I did was I just drag and drop all the images. Okay, so I just quickly want to show you how it's going to work, especially when we start prototyping it. Okay, so when you're here, this is the character that is being shown, right? So you can actually scroll up and down. In here you can actually move left and move right, and here you can also do the same thing. Okay, and the names also will change. So what the next thing we want to do is we want to show want to create a border or a drop shadow rather, so that this will show that this is the character that is being shown on the dashboard at this particular moment. We're going to give it a blue for the border and reduce the percentage to about 20. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so I hope you guys remember the last time where I actually spoke about putting the values in here. So what I want to show you guys now is, because whenever you're designing, you want to have in mind how you're going to prototype the design. All right, so and that's what I'm going to show right now. So we need a text. We need a text for this, so it should be white, and it's going to be 78%. What we want to do is just create a single number. Okay, and another single number, 78. Okay, this is what we want to do. But also, because we'll be showing the way it's going to be prototype, and then once the page loads, it's going to show the numbers counting or moving from 0 to 7. So the way we want to do this is we want to create from 0 to 9, right? And then we'll max out this 78. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to change the colors just so you guys see what I'm doing. So this is what I'm doing. This is going to be from 0 to 9 vertically. Okay, and then we duplicate it. You guys are going to see what I'm trying to do in just a second. Just bear with me. Okay, so we want to create a mask, and to create a mask is you just get a rectangle or a square, and then you just draw the square over what you want to mask. Then you select both the objects you want to mask, right? And right click and click on mask with shape. Now we can only see the number 55, right? So what we want to do is you can go in there, double click and reduce the size of the mask to whatever suits your design, and you can also go in there to change the numbers. So we wanted 78 here, and then we need the % sign. And let's just center this a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do this for every other of these attributes. So let's group it, duplicate it to this artboard, to this other circle rather, and then we want to use, let's say 70 or 89 for this. I'll just go ahead and populate the remaining of the circles. So I've gone to populate all this. So the next thing we also want to do here is we also want to create the names of the characters. So the same names we have here, we're going to do here. So now we have all the names. We could also do the same we did for these numbers, which is actually creating a mask just to show a single name at one particular time. So we can go into the mask and make changes. And this is just one way of preparing our assets for prototyping. So when we want to prototype and make it scroll up and down or sideways, this is what we do. Okay. Yeah, I think we are actually done with the design, and the next stage will be prototyping this design. And I'll just quickly show you how it's going to work. So here we have this scrolling. So when you click on each of these, and this is also scrollable, and this is also scrollable. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the prototype of this design. So to the final part, where we actually start preparing our files for prototyping. Depending on how you want your prototype to look, you would create your file, your asset based on that. So for me, I'll be creating some mask to mask out all of this and then revealing them as I go. Okay, so for this, I'll start with the card. What I want to do with the card is I want to create a mask, right? So I need to draw a rectangle on the card, then select both and then right click and click mask with shape. Okay, so I want to show the entire card, and then that's for the card. I think we've already done this for the name, so we have a mask. We are also going to create a mask for this statistics. So we need a circle, we select both of them and then we mask with shape, and then we can go inside the mask and increase it to the size we want. Okay. I think that's fine. We also want to create a mask for this navigation. And the way we want the navigation to animate is that it's going to drop from the top down to the position it is right now. So let's create a mask. Go into the mask, increase the circle or the rectangle, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is when I'm prototyping, I can go into the navigation and then move it up and then make it animate down. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm doing that. We also want to create a mask for these characters to display. Okay. All right, make sure that the mask is big enough to show the entire image. So we just go ahead and bring our chair back to the front. Okay. What we also want to do is also group this. And then also make a mask on this. So if you can see, the trick I'm using here is just masking. So if you're not familiar with masking, it's just a way to hide and reveal elements on your design screen. Okay, so we are done with masking all the elements on the page, right? And this artboard itself, this is how we want the final animation. So for when animating a design, you want a start and an end state. So this is the end state. So we can move this. Let's move this. And then duplicate this artboard, right? And this is going to be our start state. So in our start state, we want to hide all this, right? We want to hide all the elements, and then we start revealing them one after the other. And this is how prototyping in AdobeXD works. For this, you want to move this to the left, or you can move it to the top, whichever way you want your animation or your element to reveal itself. Okay. You also, for the name, you also want to move it to the left. Okay. And this, we also want to hide it. And this, we can just move this down. And then we'll move this, no, not that. We'll move this up, right? And make this, shrink this. So this is our start state. And then we would create another artboard And in this artboard, we want some of the elements to appear. So we want the characters to show. Okay, and we also want this to show. Okay, and then we create another artboard. All right, and we want this on this artboard. We want the name of the character as well as these attributes. But if you remember, we want the attributes, which is the numbers on the attribute, to kind of read from 0 to maybe 78% or 68% or 89%. And to do that, what we can do is on this artboard, or at the beginning of this artboard, we can go into this section okay, you can go into this section and we can move all the characters or all the numbers to make it start from 0. It's gonna make sense in just a second. Okay. So if we have that, then we can go back and hide the elements. All right, so let's continue with our prototyping. Then we can duplicate this, and on this artboard we want to review the attributes of this character. And we also want to review the name. Okay. Then On the next artboard, you want to go into those attributes. And then we can start revealing them one after the other. So this was 69. Okay. And then on this artboard, you can review the rest of them. And for the final one, it was 89. There could be so many layers depending on how advanced your animation is. But sometimes so you need to go into your layers to kind of dig out the layer you're looking for. So you just have to be careful. I hope this is making sense, because animation can be a little bit tricky in AdobeXD. So what I'm trying to do is that we go from this artboard to this artboard to this artboard to this artboard to this artboard until it gets to the final artboard. So we want to the next element we want to reveal is the card. That's why it's so good to kind of name your layers so that you know what you're doing. Okay. So we have that revealed. We also want to reveal the history as well as the character's thumbnail. Okay, and then for the final artboard, we want to reveal the navigation. Okay, so we are good with all these. Are all the artboards we need for the animation. I don't even think we need this. Okay, so we can take this out and use this instead. Okay, so what we will do now is we go to the prototyping tab and then we'll start prototyping. So for the first artboard, and if you're new to prototyping, maybe you want to take a more detailed tutorial that kind of shows you more about prototyping, because this is a little bit advanced prototyping that I'm showing you guys. So from the first artboard to the second artboard, we want the type of animation to be auto animate. We want the trigger to be a key, and we'll use the letter, capital letter S. Okay, so when I click on the S for start, then the animation starts. So we click on the second artboard and then we drag the anchor to the third artboard. Here we need it to be a timer and a delay of about 0.4 and a duration of 1 minute and an ease in and out. Okay, so we do the same thing on this artboard. So the good thing about Adobe is that whatever settings you put on the first prototyping applies to all if you don't change them. So we can just do, you can see it's the same. We just want to change this to time. Okay, and the delay should be 0.4 on this fourth artboard. The trigger should be time and the delay should be 0.4, or we want to make the delay 0. So this is depending on the kind of effect you want to have. Okay, so on the fourth artboard, this is the settings we want. Then on the fifth artboard, we want the same settings. And then on the final artboard, we actually want a bounce. Okay, so what I want for this artboard, for this navigation, I want it to bounce into the screen instead of just easing in. Okay, and we want the delay to be around 0.6. So we are good. Let's see how it works. Fingers crossed. So I type on the S. Okay, yeah, okay, and then we can still, scroll up and down and move this around. And so what you can do here right now is once you click on maybe one of these thumbnail, this just goes to the character. Okay, and that is very, very easy to do. Let's just say the prototyping one more time and see the way it works. Okay. So if I click on the S button on my keyboard, that is cool. Anyways, we've come to the end of the tutorial. I also want you guys to please subscribe. If this is useful, just subscribe and like this video. It helps me to create more videos. If I see that people are actually subscribing to my channels and also liking my videos, and if there is any other tutorial you want me to cover, then just type it in the comment section below. Thank you and stay safe. Bye for now.